The federal government employs thousands in the Pittsburgh region and funds research here to the tune of billions of dollars. But the Trump administration and Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency is looking at layoffs and massive funding cuts right here in our own backyard. Thanks for choosing KDKA at 6. I'm Kim Gable.
I'm Ken Rice. The administration says the cuts are painful but necessary. KDKA lead investigator Andy Sheehan looks at their potential impact on our regional economy.
On Valentine's Day, about 60 researchers here at the National Energy Technology Lab in South Park got an email from Elon Musk and Doge telling them their services were no longer required.
We do not find the need to keep your employment and you are now terminated. But they were very cold memos.
This country has gotten bloated and fat and disgusting and incompetently run.
The Trump administration says drastic cuts are necessary to reduce waste and tame the federal deficit. But their impact is not limited to places like Washington, D.C. and Northern Virginia. The federal government's tentacles run deep through Pittsburgh's regional economy with 20,000 federal workers here.
The postal carriers that we see every day are all federal workers here in town. The Army Corps of Engineers has a large presence. Housing and Urban Development has a large presence. The Veterans Administration, the hospital here in Oakland, those are all federal employees.
But they are just the most visible in a largely hidden economy that depends on billions of dollars every year in federal funding. Since the decline of the steel industry, our region's economy has been largely based on eds and meds, our large educational and medical institutions. Faced with massive cuts in research grants, the University of Pittsburgh has just implemented a hiring freeze, and Congressman Chris DeLuzio says funding cuts will have a major impact on the region's employment and economic health.
To see huge hundreds of millions of dollars of cuts come to our region, especially around research at, say, Pitt and CMU, we would feel a lot of economic pain, a lot of jobs would be lost, a lot of folks would hurt.
Pitt is faced with losing $180 million from the National Institutes of Health, funding for cutting-edge medical research, which employs hundreds of researchers and assistants. But the region is also the recipient of thousands of other grants to places like the Energy Technology Lab and military defense grants to CMU's Software Engineering Institute. Unknown millions to the Bettis National Lab in West Mifflin, which engineers nuclear submarines for the U.S. Navy, and grants to research organizations like the RAND Corporation, the international think tank with offices in Oakland.
If we don't do this, America will go bankrupt.
We've reached out to Pennsylvania's Republican Senator Dave McCormick and were promised a statement on the cuts, but haven't yet received one. Meanwhile, the VA in Oakland has already lost research grants and is bracing for layoffs. The new secretary is projecting that 72,000 VA employees will lose their jobs nationwide. While the Democrat DeLuzio says government waste should be targeted, he says these cut to the core.
They're all over the place, and they're being pretty reckless. And to be candid, they're gutting the core of what our government does, delivering veterans care, delivering Social Security benefits to funnel, literally trillions of dollars in their budget giveaway to huge corporations and billionaires.
But these layoffs and funding cuts are not cut in stone. A federal judge just reinstated those employees at the Energy Lab with back pay. And most of the grant funding is still up in the air. So the impacts both here and nationally are unknown as uncertainty fills the air. Reporting on Mount Washington, Andy Sheehan, KDKA-TV News.